F1 is currently the blockbuster movie taking the cinemas by storm, starring none other than Brad Pitt. I've been to see it, so let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to the video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the massive blockbuster of a film that is taking cinemas across the UK by storm right now. It's the newest one starring Brad Pitt, which is the F1 movie. Oh yes, I've been to see it. We're about to start talking about it. And as always, before we do start talking about it, a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts, so don't let this dictate whether or not you decide to go and see it. You might see it, if it's totally different to me. That's okay, because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without any further ado, let's start talking about this movie. And do you know what? I was really quite hyped to see this film. I am by no means an F1 fan. I have no interest or no prior interest in the sport as it is. I've never played any of the video games. The only F1 driver I know is Lando Norris. Is Lando Norris? I meant to say Lewis Hamilton, but Lando Norris. Hold on. Alexa, who is Lando Norris?
According to Wikipedia, Lando Norris is a British racing driver who competes in Formula One for McLaren.
There we go.
Norris
I know.
was runner-up in the Formula One World Drivers' Championship in 2024 with McLaren and has won 6 Grands Prix across 7 seasons.
Yeah, all right, cheers for that. So there we go. I know 2 people. I was only going to say Lewis Hamilton, but I know Lando Norris as well. So there's 2 for you. I know 2 F1 drivers. So yeah, I've no interest in F1, or I never did have any interest. But this looked like a really good action-packed film. And I saw the trailer advertised loads before it came out, so I was really quite excited to see it. I saw it on opening night. However, I've had a lot of problems with my voice. It's still really hurting. And I shouldn't really be talking, but I've just wanted to get this movie about it because it's a really, really good film. And admittedly, it was on the long side. Like, it was nearly the same sort of runtime as Wicked, which was a very long film. Wicked was like just short of like 2 hours, 45 minutes. This film is just over 2.5 hours, which is very long. I thought it was just 2 hours, but it's 2.5 hours. And do you know what? This is actually really good. It's a really good standalone film. You don't have to have any prior knowledge of F1 in order to enjoy this film. You don't need to know F1 drivers, F1 teams. Like, you don't have to know anything about the sport before watching this film. You can go into it blind, and it's really good. I do think it takes a long time for the story to be set up, and I think at times it did drag. But the moments that like I was involved and I was hooked, I was properly hooked. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was genuinely jaw dropped. I was on the edge of my seat for quite a lot of this film. And I just think if the film's doing that, it's doing a really, really good job. I have to say, especially towards the beginning of the film, I thought some of the acting was very, a bit unbearable. But I would kind of put that down to the fact that when they started recording the film, I would presume they started recording the film at the start. I don't think the first scene they would have filmed would be the finale, but anyway. So I think probably getting into the characters took a while for these actors, and I do feel like at the start it was a little bit cliche, a bit cringy, and I was like, oh. But after a while, I feel like we got to know these characters a bit more, and I was a bit on board with the acting a little bit more, and I think the acting got better the further into the film we went. But this is a great film. It's got a great soundtrack. A lot of people made original songs for this film, including Tate McRae, Ed Sheeran. Really, really good songs that really suit this film as well. Like, it really adds to the vibe. I just really, really enjoyed it. It is definitely one of my favourite films of the year so far, and I did not expect to be saying that about this film. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I actually said afterwards, after seeing... Oh, there's Siri going off now. I had Alexa, now we've got Siri. I did actually say after going to this film that this is going to be a new fangirl thing for me to fangirl over. I'm actually really into F1 now. And I think like when F1 starts or whatever, I'm going to be more interested in following F1 and finding teams to love. And I'm just giving an excuse to watch Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris, because I also knew who Lando Norris is. But anyway, really, really good film. I think it definitely has its flaws, and I do feel like at times it dragged. But the story was engaging. The acting after a while did improve. And I just have a lot of great admiration for this film. I thought it was a really fun film, and I thought it was really different. I've not seen a film like this. I think at the end they were implying potentially a second one or a follow-on to this film. I don't think it needs it. I think it's a really good standalone film that explores the world of F1 in the cinema on the big screen, which is something that I don't think has been done before. And it's very, very good. I think it's a breath of fresh air for the cinema for this year, because I do think the cinema has been a bit flat recently. But this has really brought a new energy and vibe to the big screen for 2025, and I do think we've needed it. And I just think I have a lot of admiration for this film. I think it's definitely one to go and check out on the big screen. Definitely one to check out, even if you're not a fan of F1, if you know anything about F1, because that was me. I knew nothing about it, but the trailer looked good, and I went to go and see it, and I'm really glad I did, and I would urge you to do the same. So there's my thoughts on F1 in cinemas across the UK right now. Before I wrap up this movie review, what do I rate it out of 10? Will it be joining this collection? Well, I'm giving this film an 8. Oh, just fell off the chair. An 8 out of 10. Gosh, everything's going wrong for this movie review today, isn't it? 8 out of 10 from me. Very much enjoyed it. But I give it an 8 out, because I also gave Elio, for example, an 8 out of 10. I give this film an 8 out of 10 for a totally different reason that I gave Elio an 8 out of 10. They're both 8 out of 10 films, but for totally different reasons. And I think that's really cool. Will it be joining the collection? Well, do you know what? Possibly. I'll give it a really high score, but I don't know whether for me this is a one-time watch. I don't know. There's definitely a likelihood of it joining the collection, but there's also a likelihood that it might not be joining the collection. And I think it's probably one of those that I'll wait to come down in price before I get it in the collection. But having said that, it is an Apple original film, and Apple original films don't always get given physical media releases. So there's a chance that this film might not get a release on DVD. Warner Bros are also part of this film, and Warner Bros do DVD releases. So it'll be interesting to see whether this film gets a DVD release or even a physical media release in general. But definitely, I'm not going to say never to that, because I would love to have it as part of the collection, but I'd probably wait for it to come down in price before buying it. And finished. There we go. That's everything I've got to say on F1 in cinemas across the UK right now. In the description below, as always, is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist. It features every single movie review that I've ever done. There's more to come very soon, and I shall see you in another video, and hopefully one of them very, very soon.